Hello and welcome to episode 119. Is it 18 or 19?
18.
It's 118 of the Paro pod.
No, yeah, it's 118 definitely. I know. I did the past few episodes. I just keep getting it wrong because I put it wrong on the docket. But I know this is episode 118.
This is episode 118
Yes,
of the Paro pod. You're here with your host, Mark and on.
Yo,
What's the crack? Today we're going to be talking about our recommended film of the week, which is No Home Movie, a documentary by Chantal Ackerman. Ackerman, whatever.
Belgian, French.
A European filmmaker who lives in America.
European as you can get.
She's somewhere in Europe somewhere, and she's in America at the moment. She made a film, and it's a documentary about humans and change and stuff like that. We'll get into that later.
Communication,
History, cinema,
and landscapes.
And our mom.
A lot of landscapes.
A lot of still images and blowing wind and trees.
What does it all mean?
What is it? We'll get into that. We'll tell you what it means.
We'll unravel the mysteries of this film.
We'll unpack.
In about like an hour's time.
Yes, in about an hour.
Plant payoff. That's what this podcast is all about.
It's about planting seeds. And then chilling out in their shade after the hour mark.
Exactly. Sorry, my headphones are acting weird.
Alright, we have a few technical difficulties.
Not hearing myself properly. Am I coming in through alright?
I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, can you? Okay.
Your dulcet tones.
My sultry voice.
Your silky voice.
Silky, sultry tones coming through the electronic medium of the microphone.
The microphone.
Okay, there. Oh, yeah, my headphones just weren't.
Wait, can you turn mine up as well? I can't hear myself loudly enough.
Can't hear myself think.
I need to hear myself talk. No more thoughts.
No more thoughts. Just steady stream of consciousness. That's what this podcast is.
That's all it is.
There's no editing in this podcast except for when we do editing. But
it's naturalistic.
Naturalistic.
In spirit.
In the spirit of things, you know?
Yeah.
In the spirit of things, Mark. It's June.
It is June.
It's hot as fuck.
It's 24 degrees today.
It is. My ass is sticking to this chair. My back is sticking to this chair.
I'd say it is.
Having an awful night's sleep.
Yeah, I slept pretty well.
Really?
I slept fairly well. My room is like, it's a strange kind of like, it's like one of those isolation tanks. Because it's like buried in like the middle of the gaff.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a...
Shouldn't that be the hottest room then, no?
No.
Or the heat just can't get to it.
Yeah, the heat apparently can't get... It's like I barely get any sun. Like, I wake up in the morning, like, I can't tell what time it is most of the time because there's no sun. There's no indication. I can know if it's daylight or nighttime. But it's very hard to tell what time of day it is or how late in the night it is. Like today, for example, I woke up and I was like, oh, jeez, well rested and stuff. Got up, went to Jack's, came back. Like it was basically daytime.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, like I'll get up, start my day, whatever. Which is rare on a day off that I get up early. You know, I could tell it was early. And I went back to bed. I was on my phone scrolling. I was like, hold on a second. It's 5:30 in the morning. I've only been asleep for 3 hours. It's like, it's just the way the like, 'cause I black out blinds.
Jeez, man, fair play to you. You're really getting up early.
I said 3 hours got up. But even when you take the blinds up, it's like, it's hard to tell what time of day it is. But like, so it's in the middle of the gaff, so there's structure on like in front of it and behind it. It's all like really heavy, like old
classic Dublin
Victorian brick. I have a window, but just like kind of it leads out onto like an alleyway, and there's like trees blocking stuff and whatever. But during the winter, for example, it was the warmest room in the gaff because the heat would get in, but then it wouldn't get out. There'd be no way out. It'd be stuck in there. But it's kind of, I think it's the same with the cold. That makes no sense. Where it's like hard for the heat to kind of get in. Like it's generally the same temperature all year round, which is quite
tepid room.
Yeah, like fairly warm, quite lukewarm. But yeah, I leave the window open sometimes when it gets really hot.
Fair.
But yeah, 24 degrees. What the fuck? Sweating balls.
Yeah,
Sweating
man.
balls. I wish I wore shorts. I'm here in fucking cargo pants. Like,
I'm here, my balls hanging out in these shorts. Airing out.
Airing it out.
I've started listening. Oh no. At this stage, I've finished it. I was listening to an audiobook about breathing. The importance of breath. How to, properly like nose breathe. Because
how to properly nose breathe.
Like, I'm 60% sure that for quite a while I may have been mouth breathing a lot. I don't know.
Waking mouth breathing.
Like waking mouth breathing.
Okay.
Nighttime, full on mouth breather.
Yeah, I am a mouth breather at night.
Like Melissa says, I haw on her face. That's how bad it is. And just constantly.
Yeah.
So to combat this,
Mm-hmm.
I have got myself a like strap thing that I put around my head to keep my mouth shut at night.
Can we see this contraption?
You can see this is going to be bad for the podcast, but I will pull it out, Mark. Like, to put this into perspective, when I showed my mom what I got, she looked at it and said, "Are you sure that's something you need to be showing your mom?" Like, it does not look like it's for a different type of sleeping.
Oh, okay. Let's have a look at this. Oh, okay. It does look a bit suspect.
It is a bit suspect. Hold on. I'm gonna try and put it on.
Or it's like a mask for like a giant Lone Ranger. Okay.
You put a strap on here, and you strap it on at the back.
A lot of strapping on.
And then it's just like, yeah.
That's why you hold your jaw.
It holds my mouth shut. Like even now, like as talking, I can't really open my mouth that well. You strap it on like this, and then.
So for the listener's sake, it looks like when, like, you know, those old timey bandages that they put around your head if you like if they took your tooth out.
Toothache.
Yeah. Looks like one of them.
I look like a cartoon character. But it works.
It works.
It works surprisingly well, except for when sometimes I wake up.
It does look dodgy.
It does look a bit dodgy. It's also a bit wrecked because I've been using quite a bit. But
what is the use involved?
I think
you
it's
start
just,
thrashing around.
It's like real bad material. Like it's ripping a little bit. I might have to upgrade. This was $150, so I think I might have to upgrade.
Where'd you get it?
I got a Shein order. So
oh, okay,
yeah, man, we're saving money now. Fuck this bullshit of like trying to be environmentally friendly. I need to save some money. I'm making Shein orders.
I'm pro Shein.
I'm pro and anti Shein because I was anti Shein for quite a while because I made an order like during lockdown when everyone was doing it. I got the order, nothing fitted, and I was like, this is all bollocks. This is a scam. My last order, I ordered everything in extra large. Fits like a glove.
Extra large.
Extra large. Like this
what
t-shirt I'm wearing now is extra large.
It's very nice.
It's not huge though.
Extra large. So what do you like in Ireland?
Medium in some things, large in most.
Okay, so you went for extra large.
I went a size up on everything,
okay.
and everything fits then.
Because it's like China or whatever.
Yeah, I assume so. But I also think that they might have just changed their sizing because Ireland opened up the
pop-up,
Shein pop-up or something like that. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say Shein, or Ireland is one of Shein's best customers. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that. I don't know if that's true or not. It's like the same thing when you found out that Ireland is Revolut's like best customer, which like that makes no sense. But
is it?
Yeah.
That's pretty weird.
Well, at least at one stage we were. we used Revolut the most out of anyone in the world.
It is very popular here, yeah.
So I've been using this and it works great except for when my nose gets a little bit blocked at night.
Yeah, what do you do then?
You wake up suffocating and you take the thing off and then you mouth breathe for the rest of the night. That doesn't happen every night, but it happens some nights. I think that like because the book was talking about like how if you don't nose breathe like all the time, your nose will stop working as well for that. I also think that I suffer from a deviated septum.
Yeah, I have that as well.
So when I'm lying on one side, my sinuses is going to clog up that side, and then it's just I got no breathing side.
Have you broken your nose before?
I have, yes.
It's very, very likely then, yeah.
Yeah.
I can see my deviated septum. But
yeah.
But like, you know the way your nose, with your nose breathing, it only breathes through one nostril at a time.
Yeah.
Like regardless. Even if you have a
your nose goes through cycles, and apparently like one side opens up like a flower.
Like a flower.
As it was described in the book. And then the other side will close and open up. But like it depends on the time of the day. And sometimes you'll have like both nostrils working at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes it'll be one, sometimes it'll be other. So it just kind of, your nose works in cycles.
Mysterious ways.
Yeah, like all the stuff that was going through the book was fucking mad. Like just mad shit. Talking about how like when we started to farm and stuff like that, our jaws changed shape because when we were like hunter gatherers and stuff like that, you were cooking food, but like it wasn't, the softest food. Like
and you'd be tough.
You
need to have a tough jaw to break down.
So
you'd
be chewing down, and our jaws have slowly gotten smaller and smaller, which is affecting our breathing even further.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, there's loads of interesting stuff in the book. Have you ever heard about the woman, patient CM? I think it was DM. It's this woman that developed some sort of like disease or whatever when she was a child, and whatever the disease was, it's like a kind of deterioration disease, sort of, like not like a super dangerous one, but like basically what it did was it consumed her, or like her brain. Something happened with the glands in her brain that produce fear.
Yeah.
So she had no sense of fear.
She had no fear at all.
No, like literally no fear whatsoever. Like there's like mad stories about her, like walking down the road and a man pulling up in a van beside her and being like, "Come on, hop in, I'll bring you on a date." And she just got into the van, and then he like ripped off her clothes, and they got to some barn house and like tried to have sex with her, and a dog came in and he fucking legged it because he was like afraid that people were gonna come, and she just got up, walked over to the van, and like, "Bring me home." So like, no fear, like no fear whatsoever. They ran all these tests on her to try and like get a response out of her, like putting snakes on her, like getting her up really high into the air, stuff like that.
Yeah.
None of it worked. But then they were like, "Okay, right, we're gonna try this one last thing with you. We're gonna get you to take one breath of pure carbon dioxide because everyone has the fear of not breathing. Like that's just like an innate thing. So like this woman had no fear, but like this might cause something. And she sat in the chair all mad bored or whatever, and they're like, "Okay, right, press the button whenever you're ready, and they'll blast blast carbon dioxide into the mask." She presses the button, inhales, immediate panic attack, freaking out, shaking, terrified, like begs for them to take the thing off. They take it off straight away. She's like, "I'm never doing that again." And from that, they realized that there's something else in the body that produces fear. Like the gland in your brain isn't the only thing that produces fear. There's something else that can produce fear. Otherwise,
what is it?
They think there's stuff in your lungs. So like, the way when you like take it, like hold your breath, you like after a while, like you can only focus on that and you start to panic. That's something in your lungs. I can't remember the name, like phasmo cells or whatever the fucking cells are called. They can communicate straight to the brain, being like, "You need oxygen," and that's like just a straight line to the brain, and that's why some people can hold their breath for ages, because they've just trained their body and those cells to not panic. Because you can actually go by with like no oxygen for ages. It's actually the panic and the raising heart rate that uses up the oxygen.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Because there's some people that can just like hold their breath for like 10 minutes and stuff like that, like those deep divers.
Yeah.
That's just from training their body not to panic and how to like properly conserve and use the oxygen in their body.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes some sense. That's weird though.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
That's so sad.
Because you think that like, you've always said like, "Oh, humans can only last like 3 minutes without oxygen." That's not true, because
you can last ages. Yeah.
People can last ages without oxygen. So clearly that's not true.
Yeah, it's like 10 minutes. Is it 10 minutes? It's sure not 10 minutes. But like
the world record.
Yeah. I mean, like without oxygen, like if you're not breathing, like if someone's administering CPR to someone who's like unconscious or whatever, and they're not breathing at all, it's not
professional.
24 minutes.
24 minutes holding his breath underwater during a breath hold. The level of blood CO2 rises, and obviously.
Well, yeah.
Obviously, I don't know why the fuck that's there.
This guy found a weird way to make his O2 rise.
Tom Cruise held his breath for 6 minutes.
6? I could do that.
We do it right now, live on air.
Let's do it live on the Paro Pod. 24. We're about to break the world record for breath holding.
You know what I'll do? I'll just like, you know, we'll just have silence here, and I'll just generate like 20 minutes of silence. So like,
Yeah.
We did it.
We did it. Well done. Well done. Very cool.
Yeah. So like, it is just a way that you can train your body to just
not panic.
I think
not react.
Like from what I was understanding from the book, it's got to do with like panic and your heart rate rising and that using up oxygen in your blood. But yeah, mad stuff. Breathing.
That is crazy.
The Lost Art. That was the book or something. I can't remember.
The Lost Art.
What the fuck is this? What was the book? Oh, I'm gonna pull out the
That's
name of the
good.
book.
That's good though.
I think it was something like
It's funny.
The science behind the Lost Art, isn't it? Oh, I'm gonna pull up the actual name of it.
Breathing.
But it was good. It was breath. The new science of a lost art.
The new science of a lost art. Okay.
I recommend.
It's very strange. Breathing. You know. Breathe. What the fuck?
Everyone just take a deep breath.
It's great.
Let's relax. Let's get chilled as we roll into our 4th installment of the Rocky franchise.
It's 0 to 60.
Rocky 4. This time, we're taking on Moscow.
We're taking on communism. We're taking on the lads.
Adrian, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna beat
Adrian.
communism.
Yo, Adrian, I tore down the Iron Curtain. Yo, Adrian, I beat Dolph.
I tore down the Iron Curtain. I did it. I ripped it up. Ripped it from the handles.
Fucking Vladimir Lenin's rolling his grave.
So this film is 1984? Do I have that right?
80. It's 85.
85? 85.
85.
This is like fucking, you know.
It's in the height of it. It's in the middle of Star Wars.
Yeah, this is peak.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Cold War. I couldn't think of the name for a second. You know, it's, and like, it shows.
It starts so weirdly. Yeah, it's very,
doesn't it?
It's a very weird film.
There's so much reuse in this film.
Yeah.
But in a way that I love.
Yeah, like a lot of this film is just. I don't know. Well, I'll just go. So I looked it up. Like the most noticeable thing about the film when you watch it, aside from how like bombastic and kind of off the wall it is how many like Rocky's famous for montages. And this film, I looked it up as I was watching the film because I was like, this is ridiculous.
No, yeah. I think when the second one happened, I was like, I hear it.
Yeah.
Come on.
And here we're at Rocky 4. 32 or 33% of this film is montage.
Yep.
You know?
Statistically,
32% of the frames of the film are just montages with like music, like Eye of the Tiger or Living in America or fucking whatever. Or like
that's not a montage though. That's a separate one.
That's separate to it.
There's a full like 3-4 minute performance of Living in America.
Yeah.
On top of the 33.5 minutes of montages.
Yeah. They're so long. It's ridiculous because it contrasts so weirdly because today montages are very short. You know, they're very, very like if you watch like The Simpsons is one that it's kind of like it's easy to reference because if you watch like Simpsons montages used to be kind of like 30 seconds. Nowadays you watch a new episode of Simpsons, it might last. You'll have a montage. It might last 4 or 5 seconds.
Yeah,
that's their montage. That's the modern montage. In Rocky, you have montages that go on for 10 minutes.
Yep.
Like actually go on for like nearly 10 minutes. I think it's insane. I think it's so funny.
I think the second or third one has is like a montage of stuff you've seen within this film, and that's separate to the montage of Rocky driving, and that's reuse from the first 3 films.
Yeah, there's like a recap in the middle of the film done in montage form. It's ridiculous. So what is this?
But it adds to the kind of mania that this film is.
Yeah, no, I think the film is good.
Same.
I think this film is good. I really like the film.
I think I prefer this to Rocky 2 and 3.
Rocky 2 and 3.
I think so.
I wouldn't say 2. I'd say 3. Yes.
I think man, there is like, I am amazed at the consistency of this franchise so far. Like we've already talked about, like 1 and 2 are very, you know, social drama.
Realistic,
you know. Well, Cody Sparks realistic, and then Rocky 3 becomes a lot.
Rocky 3 is out. Mick dies.
I know. But Apollo dies in this one.
Yeah, exactly.
I know, yeah. In the ring.
They're the same.
And Rocky holds him like Jesus, like Mary holding Jesus.
Yeah, like the Madonna.
Which do you think is more cheesy, 3 or 4? Because I think dialogue-wise, 3 is more cheesy because there's more like one-liners and stuff like that are funny. But I think like there's a robot in this one.
There's a robot. That's what this film opens and Rocky is a robot like made in his house.
And Paul is like, trying to fuck it.
Yeah. What the fuck happened between 3 and 4?
He got like, so rich.
He got like Rocky is like he's a billionaire or something like that. He has a it's in the middle of the 1980s and he has a robot running around doing his errands, and he's just like, and Paulie's there just like
chilling.
Just he's still there chilling.
He's just
even though like
I've never seen he's a side character contribute so little to the main character.
I love the part at the end when Rocky's going in for the big last fight and he's getting riled up by whoever.
By the crowd and all.
By the crowd. And Paul just goes, "Hey, knock him out, Rocky." It's a great advice. It's his first contribution since like the start of the film.
I think before that though, he says, "You remember earlier I said I wish I was you? Well, I'm glad I'm not you now." He's like, "Thanks, Paul."
Sound. Yeah.
Thanks for that, Paulie. Oh god.
Oh yeah, Paulie's just there chilling constantly. Even though he is definitely the person. In terms of automation, he's the character that could be automated the easiest.
He is a robot.
He doesn't do anything.
To be fair, in the first one, he did let Rocky box the hanging.
In the first one, he has a role. Yeah.
He has a role. 2, 3, 4.
He's just hanging out.
He's just hanging out. He's just a mooch.
He's just hanging around. Yeah.
I love Paulie though. I think he's like when he gets to Russia and he's just like, "This is fucking freezing. I regret coming here."
Yeah, he hates it.
He doesn't have whatsoever.
He's just shy. Yeah. He doesn't offer anything. He doesn't put anything forward.
No.
It's all Rocky. Rocky just doing his bits.
Rocky and I don't know the name of the trainer.
Yeah, I don't know when he came into it.
I think he's Apollo's trainer, but I don't know what his name is.
Yeah.
He's a good trainer though. The bit at the end where like he leans up to Rocky and he's like, "No pain, no pain," and Rocky's like, "No pain." He's like, "We got this." It's like, "Go on, Rocky."
Yeah.
That is the thing with these films is that no matter who Rocky's up against, you're like, "Let's fucking go, Rocky." Even in this film where it's kind of like, there was a moment in this film. And I think it was during like the build up to the final fight where like Rocky's walking through the Moscow crowd and they're chanting like what the fuck is his name?
Ivan Drago.
Drago. And I was just like they unveiled the flag and it's got Drago on it. And I just sat there and was like, "Man, if Drago loses this fight, he's getting killed by the KGB 100%.
Yeah.
I was just like, "Oh, poor Drago." And then that made me wonder because Creed, in the second Creed film, whatever his name is, he fights Drago's son.
Oh, okay.
Because Drago killed his dad. And I'm wondering.
Yeah. Oh, it's so funny. Yeah.
I am slightly curious as to if. I wonder if because obviously this film was in 1985, they didn't really know what was going on in the USSR and in terms of KGB killing people. I wonder if in Creed 2 is it mentioned that Drago was killed because he didn't beat Rocky.
Yeah, where is he in Creed 2?
Where is he?
Yeah, he probably. I'd say that seems like an obvious storyline. Yeah,
but also like a bit of a weird one. That makes Rocky 4 a lot more sad because Drago was just picked. He has no choice.
Nah, Drago's evil. He's clearly evil.
He gains respect for Rocky at the end.
He killed Apollo in an exhibition match, and then he knew he was dying. If he dies, he dies.
He dies. I will break you.
Yeah, so what? It's a friendly match.
Yeah, I know.
Chill out. But what the hell is wrong with you?
Apollo's been a bit of a dick, to be fair. Apollo's been a bit of a dick.
He didn't do anything, man.
He was there chatting shit. Chat shit, get banged.
He got killed.
Chat shit, get banged.
The man died. He lost his life in the ring.
He could have thrown in the towel. He refused to give up.
Yeah. What is it? Yeah, pride.
Yeah.
Pride killed.
Not Drago. Drago's just boxing.
Yeah.
really, really
Drago
hard.
did nothing wrong. Drago's actually the hero in this film.
Yeah, really. Like, if Drago won, the USSR wouldn't have fallen.
Yeah, that's actually like, even in the real world, you know.
Yeah, I'm telling
Think
you.
about it.
Where is Dolph from? Is he?
He's definitely not Russian.
He's definitely not Russian.
No.
Is he
He's like German or something.
Is
Isn't
he German?
Dolph Lundgren. There's no way he's Russian.
Where's he from? Dolph Lundgren. He's a big man.
Swedish.
Swedish.
Sweden.
Yeah. God, he's a big boy. Oh, he is in Creed 2. Okay, so he's not dead. I really wish that they did that.
That would have been a cool storyline, yeah.
Victor Drago, Jesus. What's that? Adonis Creed.
Adonis.
I'm a huge fan as well that it's like no mention of Creed having like he's a wife. There's no mention of a kid whatsoever until he gets Creed. Although I think that's in Creed. I think that's part of Creed that he's not mentioned beforehand. But yeah, like, so what is the plot of this film? Drago just rocks up and he's just like, I'm here to kick ass.
He's the amateur champion, and then he decides to go pro, and he comes to America, hence the song. Well, it only happens at the end of the film, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But he comes to America and he's like, I would like an exhibition match with the man you call Rocky Balboa.
His wife says
his wife says that,
because
yeah.
Drago doesn't talk except for three word sentences.
Yeah. He's like a robot. He's a machine, and he's on roids and all this stuff, you know.
But not Rocky.
Not Rocky. Rocky's totally natty.
Yeah,
he doesn't give a rat's.
Stallone, 100%.
Yeah. Yes, of course. And then he sets up Apollo wants to fight him.
Yeah, he's just like,
and
I have to beat him because I lost to Rocky, and I need to.
And
he
dies.
And he dies.
He dies in a friendly match.
Drago beats the piss out of him.
Yeah. In his first ever professional fight. And then Rocky goes to Russia for Rocky's revenge.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's quite simple plot.
I actually found, because I knew that Apollo died in this film. I
only remember how, because I remember you said it to me.
I was like, you're gonna
during Rocky 1. And I only remember halfway, or like just as the fight was starting, I was like, Apollo dies.
Because remember, I think last episode, you're like, I really like Apollo. I was like, oh, buddy. Buddy, he ain't gonna last long.
Yeah.
I really like Apollo, though. And like, I felt more sadness that Apollo died than when Mickey died.
Fuck Mick, man.
Fuck Mick.
Apollo, he's the king. Yeah, who cares about Mick? Mick got killed by Mr. T. Like Apollo died at the hands of communism.
I can't believe that. Like, if I was Paulie, I'd be getting out of there like, here, bro, the amount of people that die around you around boxing, I'm not dealing with this. It's two of them.
Yeah. It's like I'm not even involved in any of this stuff anymore. I'm just gonna dip. It is like both of them realistically should have been tried, you know, for manslaughter. But obviously, no. Well, yeah, it's hilarious that they both just die in the ring or near the ring, and nothing happens. It's just Rocky's revenge, both times. But yeah, no, it's funny. The whole kind of Cold War aspect is very funny as well. I love the bit at the end where obviously, Drago and Rocky have their big fight, and Drago fucking destroys Rocky for the first 5 minutes, and then it's very even, and then the tide turns and whatever.
And the people get behind Rocky.
Yes, and the people of the USSR join forces.
Even Drago himself at the final round, he's like, until the end.
Yeah.
I was like, cool.
The crowd changes sides pretty much and begins supporting Rocky. Rocky wins, of course, and you have like the fucking leader of the Soviet Union stands up and starts applauding. They all like the Politburo stand up and start applauding Rocky
after Rocky's amazing speech.
Yeah, he like changes. He heals. He basically ends the Cold War before it actually ends in real life.
I came out here and you people hated me and I hated you, but something happened in the ring where you started to love me and I started to love you. And you know what? If I can change, if you can change, then everyone can change. Yeah. And it's like Stalin's ghost, like his Force ghost in the background. It's like Star Wars. You know what? This is a load of bollocks. Fair play, Rocky. Fair play, Rocky. You boxed well. I'm also a huge fan though. Like the the like level of boxing does not improve whatsoever in these films.
No. Apollo is like jumping up and down
Yeah.
when he gets killed in that fight.
Yeah. Like he gets hit and he's like, it's like professional wrestling. Like he's getting hit and he's flying backwards and stuff like that. Like Rocky bounces off those ropes.
Yeah. It's so cartoonish, but it's good to watch. It's good fun. I prefer. I have to say I did prefer this to Rocky 3.
But Rocky 3 still isn't bad at all.
Rocky 3 is not bad, no, but it's kind of the whiplash from the second film. Plus, the stakes are a lot higher in this one.
Yeah, well, the world's at stake.
The world is literally the West. Capitalism is at stake in this. Whereas in the third, it's more like kind of the gimmick of Mr. T. But then at the time, it wasn't even really a gimmick. As we talked about, that was his first movie, really, his first real movie, which is kind of impressive. But I preferred this one. I thought it was very good. Good crack.
You know,
it's like the evolution from serious Rocky into like silly Rocky. It's like was a lot like it's really jarring, but at the same time you don't really feel it when you're watching the film.
No, I think as well because Rocky 3 switches in a way like I think with the dialogue and stuff that gets really cheesy in the third film, but like everything else is like fairly. Like if the dialogue wasn't as cheesy, the plot's not cheesy really, except for Mickey dying. But having said that, Adrian did go into a coma in the second film.
Yeah,
so
true, yeah.
Like this film just like goes ham, especially with the music. The music is really what does it.
The montages, yeah,
and the montages, and like there's a montage of Rocky and Drago training. And I just took down a note and I was just like, Rocky is training by climbing mountains and outrunning KGB spies.
Yeah,
that is how he trains for this fight.
He's just running around, and it's just like Drago's just like injecting steroids, just like directly into his shoulder, and like going mental. And Rocky's there running around. He's just a working class guy. He's just in Russia this time. It's really good.
That's even one note that I took down because it's like, the pride of America in Apollo and that entrance and stuff like that. That is pure like American boastfulness, you know, pure like flamboyancy, pure bravado and stuff like that gets nuked. But the humble working class Americanism of Rocky, that's where you succeed.
The humbleness of
the humbleness of Rocky.
The humility of Sylvester Stallone.
No, not
it wins over in the end.
We can all learn something.
About
humility from this film particularly.
No, it is good crack though. It is because it pays off.
It does.
It lands. It sticks to landing very, very well. So if Jason Bourne was in fucking one of the Fast and Furious movies, you know, you wouldn't expect that to work.
Yeah.
But it's like this is the same kind of thing.
Yeah, if Jason Bourne turned into a Fast and Furious film.
Yeah. This is the same kind of thing, but it just works somehow.
Somehow
it does work.
So we got
respect.
We got Rocky 5 and Rocky Balboa left.
Yeah.
Rocky 5 is not meant to be good.
Yeah. Rocky V.
It's a street fight, I think.
It's a street fight.
Yeah.
How does he go back to? It's like, how does he go back to street fight?
Streets.
I'll go back to the streets, Paulie.
I wonder if it's like an.
I want to fight you.
Well, I guess this fight was already unsanctioned, so it wasn't for the world title. But like, I don't know where we're going in the fifth one. I literally don't know a single thing about the fifth one, except for that it is meant to be the worst one. But then Rocky Balboa goes right back to the social drama, and it's actually meant to be good again.
Yeah, I've heard that. You know,
which is
it has a speech.
Yeah, that great speech. Oh my god, I can't wait for that. I can't wait to cry over that.
So iconic, yeah.
Oh man, I think it's so because if you look at like any like, you know, classic franchise, Alien, not Texas Chainsaw is already a classic franchise. What are other like great franchises? Die Hard,
Terminator.
Well, Terminator. Would I even count Terminator? I'm talking about like, you know, 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. But Terminator had like had one film by the time this film was out.
Yeah, true.
Like these films came out like 2 years after each other, more or less. And it is amazing how like consistently good that they are.
Yeah, no, they are good.
And by the end of it, like, you know, Rocky Balboa is meant to be good. So that's 5 out of 6 films that are meant to be good.
Yeah.
There's no other franchise I can think of that could do that.
It is a really high hit rate, yeah, to be fair. Like, yeah, it does make sense. The fact that he's still going.
I wonder if it's just because Stallone just knows what he's doing.
I don't know.
Or knew what he was doing. I don't know if he knows what he's doing anymore.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't anymore.
You see Expendables 4 got announced?
Did it?
Yeah.
I somehow don't think any of the Expendables could even come close to the quality of this film.
I remember watching the very first Blu-rays I bought.
Yeah.
Expendables.
Why?
And Shaun of the Dead.
Why Expendables?
I have no idea. I think I was like 13. I was like, oh, that looks like it'd be cool. Like, if it's like really bloody and gory and like, cheesy, campy. It's not. It's not really.
Yeah, I've
Expendables is not very good. I haven't seen. I think Expendables 2 is that. I might be wrong though.
It's gory.
Like more bloody.
Okay. Yeah, I doubt they're very good though. In general.
Is Rambo meant to be good?
Rambo. Fun fact. I actually read the book to Rambo.
It's a book.
It's based on a book.
Mad.
Yeah, the book is quite good, and apparently the film is quite good. Actually, I don't think I've seen the film.
I've seen
because the film is very different from the book.
Yeah,
but apparently the film is good. But then it turns into like the same as this, where he's fighting alongside Al Qaeda in Afghanistan, defeating the Soviets. I think it's a Rambo 3 or 4.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've seen. Was it 2008? Where was a Rambo movie? 2009.
Yeah,
where they made it like real gritty. I watched that one,
and
the only reason I watched it is because at the time that film had the most on-screen deaths. Because there's a bit where Rocky gets into a machine gun turret, and there's like a 5-minute scene of him just like it's just a montage of him just blasting people down for literally like 5 minutes.
The book is about like a war veteran who has PTSD, and like it's all about his psychological trauma, and he kills a few people, like defending himself. But then like the franchise turns into just this gore fest. Yeah.
It's just like Rocky.
yeah.
It's real humble beginnings. Rocky 4.
Yeah, he defeats communism.
I think that like every franchise should just. I think like Fast and Furious 4 would have been better if they just were like, Stallone, can you do this one first? You can do whatever you want.
Yeah. No, he would do well in that franchise. He's a bit old though. That's the thing. He's like 80, isn't he?
Yeah. Or is he? I think we read up on this. He's older than Schwarzenegger.
He is old.
He's still fucking huge.
He's still yeah. He's pretty big.
He hasn't done anything in ages, has he?
No.
Fair enough.
It's just Expendables, isn't it?
Fair enough. Yeah. Actually, I said he hasn't done anything, and he's doing Expendables 4. They're doing the thing as well where it's Expendables, where the 4 is the A.
That was pretty his idea, was it?
Yeah, I mean he saw those posters from the mid 2000s and 2010s. He's like, I'm gonna modernize Expendables.
He's just gotten around to watching those kinds of films. Yeah. There's a crazy new trend in Hollywood.
They put the number as a letter.
Yeah, no. Respect to Stallone. Big respect.
Respect to him. He knows how to make a bombastic, explosive film.
Mm-hmm.
But Mark, does he know how to make an explosion that could blow up a pipeline? Segways. That's what I'm on about.
Segue. Honestly, I'd say he could. But yeah, so I watched a film called How to Blow Up a Pipeline, which is actually still out in cinemas, I believe.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think it is. Yeah,
it's still out. It was in cinemas very recently, if not. And it's on... What's it on? I watched it... I don't think it's on anything at the moment, but I watched it on...
You watched it on...
The Dodgy Box.
The cinema.
The cinema.
On the cinema.
I watched it in cinema. And it's based on a book, a Verso book. So Verso is like this like left-wing, like, Verso, like publishing house.
Yep.
And they publish all these weird, esoteric works, and then like all kind of like theory books, mainly philosophy and historical stuff. And this guy wrote a book. I don't remember his name. I don't think he'll care. But anyway, this guy wrote a book called How to Blow Up a Pipeline. And it's not a story really. Mm-hmm. It's just it's a book about the environment, about ecology, about the environmentalist movement, and like a kind of a criticism of like non-violence as the kind of
forte.
Yeah, because it's kind of the main kind of like ideology within that movement. The book doesn't actually tell you how to blow up a pipeline because that would be illegal, but it's like kind of why
Well, you should.
It's a justification for like why something like that might be, you know, why I don't know, more forceful action would be better than just kind of like sitting around and like doing like sit-ins.
Sitting in the middle of the road.
Yeah, or like I don't know, walking through pennies and like
throwing paint on clothes.
Yeah, protesting like stuff like that. Like blowing up or damaging infrastructure would have like clear material effects.
Yeah.
As opposed to the way things are doing or the way things are happening right now. But yeah, somehow it got made into a film.
Yeah, I thought that was
really
mad.
weird.
I thought that was mental.
Yeah, I thought that was very strange. When I first heard, someone I know went to go see the film, and he was saying to me, I was like, because I'd heard of the book, I hadn't read it or anything, but I'd heard of it, and then I had no idea it was being made into a film. But I didn't think that something like that
could be turned into a film.
Would ever be made into a film, but also could ever be turned into a film. Like just the name itself, How to Blow Up Pipeline, seems kind of like it's grey area, kind of getting into incitement to violence, which is obviously extremely illegal. And there was like a huge response from the kind of regulatory bodies in the US which control or like kind of oversee kind of energy infrastructure and stuff like that. Like they had everyone on high alert when the film came out, even though it's a very small independent film that didn't get like a huge massive wide release. I think it didn't get too much attention, but it is it was, you know, it is kind of a dangerous film in that kind of way, just because it does seem to basically like promote.
Is this a documentary or is it a film?
That's the thing. So the book is the book is non-fiction. The book is just talking about history, current events, philosophy, ideology, things like that, politics. This film is nothing to do with that. The film has nothing to do with the book. It's based loosely on the ideas from the book.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it uses it kind of expresses the ideas through a story, where you have I think it's like 6 people who are interested in. There were 6 environmentalists who basically come together to blow up a pipeline in Texas, and it's done in the style of a thriller, like a proper,
like a heist movie.
Exactly, like a heist movie. Like the film opens and you get straight into it. Like you're literally straight in there, and they're starting, like they're all leaving to go to blow up this pipeline, and like to assemble the explosives and stuff like that. And over like the next hour, you kind of like get to know the different characters that's told in chapters nearly, like who each of them are, and you have like it's like people from all the different colors of the rainbow, you know. So you have this like redneck kind of like cowboy guy who's this pipeline in Texas being built on his property, and part of his property was seized because of eminent domain, and he has no interest in like left-wing politics or any kind of extremist politics whatsoever, but he's just like, you know, material interested in the fact that, you know, his actual personal interests are affected by the fact that the pipeline's been built on his land, and he's very angry about it. And then you have like Xochitl is like kind of the main character, and then Asha, I think her name is. They're like kind of the two main characters, like childhood best friends who grew up in a town near an oil refinery, and they're both scarred, like physically and mentally scarred by what happened. For example, Asha, I don't think that's her name actually, but I'm not arsed.
Fair enough.
But anyway,
keep going.
One of this girls, she has cancer because of what happened, because of like the area she grew up in, and it's kind of about tying the effects of of those kinds of things like pipelines, chemical plants, the things that create climate change, and the things that are kind of damaging the environment, how they actually have real world tangible effects right now. It's not just a case of like, oh, if we don't do this in 50 years time, you know, your gaff might be underwater, which is very abstract. It's very hard to kind of care.
Yeah, hard to relate to that.
Yeah, very hard to, like, no one looks that far down the line,
because you can't even imagine it.
Yeah, no one can imagine that, and it's like, we'll probably fix that. It's like, but obviously these things have there are huge things happening right now, which maybe we don't consider as part of environmental destruction or climate change, but which obviously are. For example, they talk about the Pakistan floods at the start of the film. You hear it on the radio. There's millions of people displaced, thousands dead, tens of thousands dead, all that stuff. It's all directly because of climate change. Never really that fact is never really talked about when it's covered. And then you have Flint and stuff like that, Flint, Michigan.
Yeah.
The recent train derailment in the US as well. There's loads of examples. But basically all the backstories are about telling the viewer how these people became interested in the whole idea, and why they're acting now rather than, just kind of like sitting around and being like, let's not, why it's better to act in not like in a violent way, pretty much. Because that's the thing. That's why the film is kind of weird. It's kind of strange to see a film which basically advocates terrorism. Not in the sense it's like you should all go out and do this, but in the sense that the main characters in the film blow up an oil pipeline. But there's zero judgment whatsoever. There's nothing, like they're the good guys.
No judgment on their actions.
They're the good guys, and the people trying to stop them are the bad guys, and the oil company's the bad guys. Don't really touch on any of that stuff, like the other actors. It's all about these characters and how they've been fucked over and how angry they are, and how they're gonna like pull off this heist. At the same time, it's not a terribly ideological film. Yeah, they're not like, we're looking towards some crazy like utopia in the future. We're going to take down all these energy companies, destroy capitalism. It is just a heist film which happens to kind of be politically relevant, environmentally relevant. It's very good. I won't spoil a lot of the film because it is a heist film. It has like twists.
Is one of them a rat?
Yes, but not in the way you think. Not in the way you think. Which is why I thought it was a good twist. It's not some crazy twist, but it's like, that's quite clever. Yeah. Like, it's a good heist film. It's a good thriller. At the same time, it's like actually relevant to the world. It's provocative. It's not like a Now You See Me kind of thing, where it's like, this was a fucking waste of time.
Don't Look Up.
Or Don't Look Up. Yeah, exactly. That's actually a really good example. Yeah, Don't Look Up, which wanted to be really relevant and kind of like hit on all the like trendy kind of talking points and stuff like that.
That film was so bad.
But yeah, it just ended up being just impotent.
Complete naff.
Yeah, it was totally irrelevant. Totally irrelevant. It was just like people patting themselves on the back about being right without actually doing anything really. This isn't a film that How to Blow Up a Pipeline isn't a film that pretends to be doing anything. More so it's just telling a story which it presents the main characters are presented as being right, in a way that is like very incompatible with kind of how they would be covered in real life in the media and stuff like that. I thought it was very interesting. Good film, exciting film. Yeah. I would recommend people watch it.
I think I might give this a go and also get the book.
Yeah.
Might get the book on Audible.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Good old Amazon providing me some anti-capitalist propaganda.
Yeah. No, it is. Because, usually these films are just a bit of a slog. They're kind of very on the nose. This isn't on the nose at all. Yeah. There's no... It's just really... It's a really well done heist film. There's no theory, or you don't need to like know anything really.
You can just relate.
You can just watch the film and be excited by it. How to Blow a Pipeline. That was very good. Yeah. Good crack. It's only an hour and a half as well. Well worth the watch. That's well worth the watch.
Very nice. That is very nice.
Yep.
Interesting.
If you can find it, have a look. I feel like I should have gone to see it in cinemas, but it's the kind of film where I feel like they don't care that I didn't go.
Yeah, they're like
to see it. They're like, you find somewhere to see it. Yeah.
Watch this film however you want.
Find somewhere to see it. Yeah.
Normally, I would switch to me now.
Oh yeah. No.
Because of what you're talking about.
They're kind of relevant.
Is that why you watched Ted K as well?
No. So first of all, I watched Ted K. So the Unabomber died over the weekend.
Oh shit!
Yes,
I didn't know that.
He's dead, man.
No
He's
way.
Dead. So Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, passed away on Saturday. So on the 10th of June, he died. He committed suicide in prison.
Damn.
So he was 81. Quite an old guy.
Damn, that is old.
He got caught in like 95, 96, something like that. So he'd been in prison for quite a long time. He was kind of depressed. Tried to commit suicide before all this jazz. So yeah, he passed away over the weekend, and it was kind of it wasn't a big thing, but I was like, interesting. Interesting stuff. And I remember Ted K, this film, Ted K.
We talked about the trailer for this or something ages ago.
Yeah, we briefly talked about it, and we were both like, oh, we're going to watch this. But
never did.
Just never did.
Our normal thing that we do. Like, Potty, if you're listening, we will eventually get to those films that you recommend that we watch.
Yeah.
We will eventually.
Eventually, once you dig out what they were called again.
We only watched Black Messiah. Like, one of us only watched Black Messiah this year after it being in our first episode.
The first episode. Yeah, it's 3 years later. But no, yeah, Ted K. I remember being like, "Oh, I really want to watch this. It looks like it's going to be well done." It just it never came out here really, and it wasn't really.
Well, it's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon. That's the thing. That if it wasn't on Amazon, I don't think I would have watched it even last night. But it turns out it's on Amazon, and I was like, kind of in the mood for something like that. Just to go into the story, like the lore behind Ted Kaczynski. Because there's a lot I don't know. There's a lot I really don't know.
Oh yeah, jeez.
You know,
especially something like that. Like
So it stars Charlton Copley, the chap from District 9.
I'm amazed that you're able to pronounce that name.
Charlton Copley. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Yeah. But he's a guy from he's the South African guy from District 9.
District 9,
and Chappie and all that jazz. And he plays Ted Kaczynski in this film. He's great.
Yeah, he is.
Great actor. And what I kind of. So the film basically just tells the story of the Unabomber. Like the Unabomber. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily about Ted Kaczynski.
Yeah.
You know? So it starts with him living in the woods. Like it starts with that. And then it's kind of like how he comes to rationalize the idea of sending bombs and whatever through the mail to target technology and like airlines and universities and stuff like that. All the way through to the end of his story. And it's told through quotations, a lot of it through kind of narrative or voiceover and quotations of his manifesto, Industrial Society and its Future. It goes through and his journals as well. Talks us through kind of the process of his thought process of how he wanted to write the manifesto, what goes into it, the different aspects of it. And that sense is really good, but I was kind of disappointed how it doesn't touch on like anything before that at all.
Yeah,
you know, because there is a lot before that.
Isn't he someone that was like, maybe there was some MK Ultra stuff going on there?
There was. No, he was.
He was.
It's documented fact he was in MK Ultra. Yeah, he was a victim of MK Ultra, which basically coincided with him dropping out of society entirely and going to live in the woods.
Yeah.
Which seems like a bit of an oversight not to address that at all. Because they do address the fact that he was this mathematical genius and that he lectured at Harvard. With literally just like a title card at the start of the film. They're like, this guy, like Ted Kaczynski.
So they mentioned that, but they don't mention MK Ultra whatsoever.
They don't mention anything that happened in between him dropping out and the start of the film, which is him,
wow.
which is it's a bit of an oversight, but I can understand why they did that, just in the sense that
because that's a whole kind of worms. Like once you open that, it's like fuck, we gotta explain a lot of that. Then
yeah.
Just very briefly, because I'm opening up a new can. There you go.
Lovely. But yeah, so it doesn't go into any of the conspiracy stuff or the anything esoteric, anything too esoteric.
Oh man, that is nice.
Some IPAs here.
Hopping on Session IPA.
Oh, Junction Job.
Is that nice?
Session IPA.
It's got a picture of a dart with New York on the top of it. Nice.
Love it.
So you were saying?
Yeah, no, Ted Kaczynski. It doesn't get into anything crazy, esoteric, any conspiracy theories. It actually kind of withdraws quite a bit.
Is it like super realistic? Like, you know, like sorry, another question. Is he the only person in this film? Like, is this one of those type of dramas?
No. The thing is, like, he didn't just live in that cabin, like, kind of like a wild man. Like, he went into town, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And he had jobs, like, kind of menial jobs, because he needed to make money to buy stuff. Like, the ingredients for his bombs. It's like a big kind of subplot in the film. He needs money to buy material for the bombs. He has to beg his brother. Charlotte Copley does a really good impression of him as well. The entire film, and it kind of draws inward in the sense that, like, it's a film about a guy who's in the middle of nowhere, who is like kind of misanthropic.
Yeah.
He hates people, he hates society, he hates industry, technology, the Industrial Revolution, all that shit. So he isolates himself, lives on his own as a hermit in the woods, The film doesn't really go into or like really attempt to even talk about like what that might say about the wider, scope of things.
Yeah.
Like kind of what he was talking about in the manifesto. Because maybe that is illegal to kind of try to justify what he said in the manifesto.
Especially I think it's going to be hard to justify the Unabomber.
Yeah. But it basically what draws in terms of its subject matter and how it tells the story as well, because it is just about him. It's not about what he believed in, or
it's about what he did.
Yeah, even about what he did. Like nothing is shown about the bombings really.
Oh, really?
You just kind of see the newspapers. You see the reports, TV, stuff like that. It's very focused on this one guy,
and it's a very focus on like his mental state.
Yeah, his neuroticism, his mental state. Apparently, he had schizophrenia. I'm not sure if that's true. It's kind of hinted at in the film, but again, it doesn't. Like, it's not clear in real life, so I don't think the film wanted to commit to it too much. But yeah, it's very focused on his mental state. Maybe
the paranoia and stuff like that.
Trying to explain why he went out to the woods, rather than trying to kind of trying to find an internal subjective reason for why he hated everyone else around him, and like industry and society and stuff like that. Like, if you're out in the woods, a plane would fly over, he'd get like irrationally mad, which is true. Like, he wrote about that in his manifesto. But that we're kind of led to believe like that's the reason that he just hates all of
technology.
Yeah, all technology, which is a fair point, but it's not what he mentioned. It's not what he says in the manifesto. He has like philosophical kind of points. He has like a whole belief system which he goes into. Yeah. Which again, I don't think the film could have got away with trying to justify or explain that properly without. Again, so it's one of those films. Kind of it isn't explicitly kind of like if you have a film about a serial killer. It's like he's the bad guy or whatever, or like you don't really get the sense that he's the villain in the film. It's more like he's like a sad. It's more of a tragedy than anything like that.
It's the Joker, man.
It's the Joker. It's like, oh man, society's fucked.
This is so me.
Yeah. You don't see he's not because the film is about him, so he can't really be the villain. But it's more like about a tragedy of like a really sad, lonely individual. Who also is like a big incel, apparently. I didn't know that at all. Apparently he's a huge incel.
I can kind of tell.
He hated women, and like he was like kind of socially inept because he skipped so many levels through school because he was like a genius or whatever.
Man never got puss.
Yeah, apparently not. Oh, I'd say in jail he did.
I say he got plenty of puss.
A lot of fanboys. Fangirls, what I said. I don't know.
A lot of fans.
But yeah, no, so the film it's really well done. And I respect the fact that it doesn't really it doesn't commit to like any side of what you'd imagine. It is very kind of like straight to the point, which is I think is the only way you can go with that kind of subject matter. Yeah. But it doesn't really at the same time it doesn't veer too much into anything about the environment. For example, like I decided to watch Head Below Pipeline after watching Ted K.
Oh, okay.
Like it's the stuff that is talked about in the latter film, like Head Below Pipeline, is only kind of hinted at in
Ted K.
Right, yeah. Where like there's nothing really like you get quotations from the manifesto where he talks about industrial society and stuff like that, technology, and the effects that it has, which is all really like they're not original points, but they do make sense, of course. But the main kind of the way it's hinted at in the film is just kind of in imagery and stuff like that. You get like these huge steel tractors, like kind of marching over the land, like the really high frame rate, like the way it's directed is quite cool. Like it looks kind of like a kind of horror film esque.
That's cool.
When there's machines running through the forest, which I feel like was the point. Definitely. Kind of showed like the alien invasion happening in nature or whatever.
But the Avatar.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. But it was real. But the rest of the film is very straight to the point. But I think it's really well done. It's a good thriller. It's good. It's just a good kind of like biopic.
Yeah.
Of a violent extremist.
That's mad.
Yeah.
Two interesting films there, Mark.
Two thematically connected films.
Yeah, very.
That's the idea.
Very. Jeez.
But But yeah, no, they're both good. They're both well worth the watch.
Yeah.
I think they're both on Amazon as well.
I think so.
Or no, How to Blow Up Pipeline isn't yet. But yeah.
I think it's coming to Amazon.
Yeah.
I think I've seen something like that. But 10K's been on my watch list since we started talking about it.
It's worth the watch. It's very short as well. It's like an hour and a half.
Oh, in my head it was like 2 hours long, so I've been like...
No, I think it's an hour and a half. It's
okay. That changes it then. I'll watch it again. Yeah. That does change things. Changes things drastically. Yeah, so talking about people in prison, is that the segue I'm going to go with? Yeah, we'll go with that one. I watched Brawl in Cell Block 99. This is a Vince Vaughn film, directed by S. Greg Zahler.
Probably, yeah.
I don't remember that's that name.
S. Who is S at the start of their name?
What a pretentious fuck.
Yeah.
Like, who do you think you are having a letter?
An initial at the start of your name.
Yeah, what does the S stand for? Stephen? Why can't you be Stephen Craig?
Steve Zahler.
Steve Zahler. That's a better name. Steve Zahler.
What's wrong with that? Anyway.
Steve
Zahler.
The only reason why I have the director's name down is because people might know him from Bone Tomahawk, and more explicitly that awful scalping and splitting in half scene that went around on Twitter for a while.
Splitting in half scene. Yeah, that says it all. It's so awful. Oh my god.
That is the worst thing I've ever seen.
And they stick his balls in his mouth and they split him in half.
Awful. Absolutely awful. So I was I've had this film on my watch list for ages because I heard like it has really good action scenes in it. But then when I watched that clip of Bone Tomahawk, I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to watch this. Because it's like prison fights are so fucking gritty, you know? And it's
but you love gore as well.
I do love gore, but there's like...
There's a line.
And there's like... There's... like a squeamishness that and I know I watched Terrifier 2, but there's something like prison violence explicitly that like, you know, it's like dirty shanks and stuff like that like,
and it's real.
It
real. Actually happens.
Like that's the thing as well. There's like a realism to prison violence that like gets to me.
Yeah, those Colombian prisons, man.
They're what, man? Fucking,
you don't want to be in there.
Like, what is that thing? I remember fucking seeing a clip of like world's tough, like hardest prisoner. And he was just this mental dude that was like, the new men come in, they become my wife, they are now a woman. And I think it was Ross Kemp or something was interviewing him. And he's
always Ross Kemp.
It's always
this guy from Coronation Street.
Yeah. I think it might have been Ross Kemp. I'm going to place money that it was Ross Kemp. And Ross Kemp was like, so are you a homosexual? And he's like, no, I kill homosexuals. And he's like, but you have sex with men. He's like, I don't have sex with men, I have sex with women. And it's like, what? It's like, they are men before they come into prison. After that, they become women. I was like, dude is transitioning people without their consent.
And he's one of the nicer guys in those prisons.
No, he was the like the
enforcer.
He was the leader.
The Don.
And would have prison wives. Who did not consent.
Some of the videos come out of there.
Fuck that. Fuck all that.
Football. Their idea of football is not right.
No.
It's not right at all.
Cell Block 99 is not as gritty as that. It's actually... So, like, this is, like, a real, like, grindhouse film in terms of, like, it's a B-movie action film with, like, gore and, like, special effects and stuff like that. It's not, like, you know, unbearable gore. There's a bit where Vince Vaughn is so fucking big. This is the film that made me realize, like, Vince Vaughn is fucking huge.
He's like 6'4", is he?
He's so fucking big. And because of that reason, he's so believable when he, like, beats the fuck out of people. Like, there's a bit where, like, he beats the piss out of this dude, and he stomps on their heads. And then there's, like, 3 people in front of him, and he's telling the people, like, give me the phone or whatever the fuck he's asking them to do. And they refuse. So he slides the dude's face up off the ground and lifts up his head, and like the layer of skin and flesh from his face is gone, and it's just like bone. And I was like, That's fucking gruesome. But because the special effects aren't super realistic, like I always think with Bone Tomahawk, that scene is especially horrible because it's in the dark, and a lot of the special effects are hidden by the darkness. This is fairly open, like in the bright, so you can see it, and it's not the worst. Like it's still brutal, but when he lifts with the head, like like that's not a human face. Like it looks kind of plasticky. But like that, I think that's a good thing. I think that's in line with the stylistic choices of the film. It doesn't need to be, Raid 2 of violence and stuff like that. Like, even in terms of like action, it's like I really like the action scenes in this are amazing. They're good. Like they're not amazing, but they're good.
Yeah.
Like,
what happened? What's the plot?
So the plot is Vince Vaughn works in a mechanic or something like that, and he's let go. They're like, we can't keep you on anymore. And he's just like, no bother. And he goes home to his wife, and she's not pregnant yet. She gets pregnant, but not yet. And I think she's like cheated on him or something like that. And he's like real calm about the whole situation. Like, it's the chillest dude. You're like the chillest dude that will beat the piss out of you in a minute if you really ask for it, you've ever fucking seen. And he's just like, okay, here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna start selling drugs, and you're gonna get a job, and we're gonna be okay, and you're never gonna cheat me again. And she's just like, okay. We fast forward like 4 years. He's like gone up. He's like the best enforcer for this like drug lord dude. And the drug lord is expanding to work with the Mexican cartel, and the Mexican cartel send up 2 dudes to go get drugs with Vince Vaughn. Things go wrong, and there's a shootout, and Vince Vaughn isn't anywhere near it, and he can easily just walk away, but he's just like, those cops don't deserve to die. It's a bit of a weird take from this film, but whatever. And Vince Vaughn kills the cartel members and then is sent to prison. And then the cartel kidnap his wife, who is now pregnant. And they're like, if you don't go to... you need to kill this dude in prison. Yeah. We don't know where he is. You need to kill this dude in prison, or we're going to give your wife an abortion and then kill her.
Jesus.
And then he's just like, okay, right. And he starts asking around jail, and he finds out that
it's like, okay,
right. Fine, I got no choice.
Fair enough.
And he's like in Mac. So how he does it is he's in like he's in Gen Pop, and then he beats the fuck out of a guard to get sent into maximum security. And when he's there, he realizes that the dude that he's looking for is actually in the 3rd layer of prison, cell block 99, a place where people go in, nobody comes out. So then he has to beat the fuck out of more people and get sent to cell block 99, which is basically the worst prison ever. Like he's brought into a cell, and there's broken glass on the floor, and there's a bed with no matches or anything on it. And it's like, there you go, this is it for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And the prison guards, he has like a belt on him that like the guards will like electrocute him with, and it's like, every time that you do anything wrong, we're gonna electrocute you. And it's just basically he fights his way out and like works his way to get out to a position where he's not gonna escape the prison, but he's gonna get the job done, or at least save his wife. It's a weird fucking movie because like the character, I don't know how much you're meant to really root for him.
What?
Like, he's not...
He seems like a bit of an idiot.
He's an idiot, and he's also like... He's like... he's a real, like, redneck.
Yeah.
Like, I think the idea behind it is, like, he's meant to be, like, this, like, noble, rough redneck. But, like, everything that he does makes the situation worse for everyone around him. So, in that way, like... It's never like glamorizing what he does, but it's also like vaguely racist.
How?
Like, you got the Mexican cartel.
Mm.
You have there's explicitly a Korean doctor that will come in to do the abortion, and that Korean doctor is really upset when he can't do the abortion.
Why is he Korean?
I have no answer for you.
He's just Korean.
He's just a Korean.
Okay. Well, maybe
So
he's
the
just
most-
Korean.
So the most evil people in this film are all not white, except for one prison guard who's like not the most evil, but he's just kind of a dick, and he gets fucked up by Vince Vaughn. So it's just like that kind of stuff is a bit weird, and they're like kind of
Well, the
blue
cartel
lives.
are pretty evil now.
Yeah, I know, but like also the kind of blue lives matter aspect of the film.
Yeah.
and stuff like
Why,
that.
why is he rooting for the like you're a drug dealer?
I think it's because he's a redneck. So he's got that
He's got that thing.
thing. I
That
guess
thing in him.
I don't know. It's even like. It's like I was looking at some reviews and stuff like that. People are like, this film is so ugly, and it's like, yeah, but it's a grindhouse film, so like it's meant to be.
Yeah.
Like it's meant to look like shit. Everything's gray and like blue and like just not pretty to look at, but like it's a grindhouse film. Like that's just the vibe.
point, yeah.
That's what you're gonna get with. I think I remember years ago I watched this film called Hobo with a Shotgun, which was also like a grindhouse film from like the early 2010s, maybe late 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember watching it because it was on Netflix, and I was like, that sounds cool. And I fucking hated it when I was younger because like that was shit. Like that was the ugliest, meanest, like just bloody for the sake of blood violence that I've ever seen, and I didn't like it. And I think that's just kind of grindhouse films as a whole. Like you're just there to watch violence play out.
Yeah.
And like this film is good, but it's not like amazing. I remember like hearing about this film because Chris Stuckman was like, this is one of the best films of the year whenever it came out. And it's like,
Chris Stuckman.
really? Like, really? Really? I think this film's like from like 2016. Really? This is really like you think this is one of the best films of the year?
That was a good year.
I don't know. It's good. Like it's a 3-star film. A good 3-star film.
A 3-star film.
Yeah. Like you're gonna remember that you watched it at the very least.
Okay.
Like, 10 years from now, people are like, oh, Cell Block 99. I'm like, I remember that.
Yeah.
Vince Vaughn was a big boy in that, and he smashed that dude's face in. There's a lot of like arms bending backwards because he just snaps them.
Jesus.
Yeah, but it's not like the bone popping up; it's just the arm flays back.
Yeah. That's somehow worse though.
That is worse.
Somehow worse. Yeah, no, I looked it up when I seen it on the doc. And I was very interested. But it's on Prime or something, isn't it? It's on one of those. It's on a platform somewhere. You obviously didn't watch it on.
Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's on something anyway. And I was like, oh, this sounds really interesting. I didn't get time to watch it, but I'll stick it on the old listing though.
The thing that could have killed me was that I heard like the action in this film is really good.
It's not.
It's not like, and I think as well like Vince Vaughn believably like can beat the shit out of you. He's not the most agile person.
Yeah, he seems very stiff.
There's a bit where like he dodges punches and it's like his like knees bend and his body go backwards, and like it's like a stick figure going backwards. It's really weird how he moves, and his arms are down by his side. I don't know how he moves like that. Like it's not the most fluid, and it doesn't exactly look like the punches are connecting. But like there's other bits where like he's just grabbing someone, like snuffing them out, or like grabbing them and like just slamming into the ground. You're just like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Like it depends on the action scene.
Okay.
There's one shot that I remember people like sharing online, like this is one of the best action scenes in ages. As they go, it's like a big wide shot of him taking on like 3 dudes, but it's one of those scenes where like he's taking on 3 dudes and they all come after him one after another.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
yeah.
I actually thought that was the weakest action scene in it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of want to watch it though. It sounds cool.
It is. It's cool, but like, it's not relevant whatsoever. But like, watch The Raid. I mean, the Raid is the one time I've seen a film do a 4-on or like a 3-on-1 fight, and it's believable that dude escapes that fight.
Yeah.
Like that is just one. That is one of the best action scenes I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Raid is so good. Everyone should watch The Raid.
There we go.
There we go. So, Cell Block 99.
That's all right.
Go watch The Raid. We go for a quick break.
Go for a break.
I went to the cinema for the first time in a good while.
Did you?
I did.
Where'd you go?
I went down to Odeon.
Ah.
The Point in Odeon. Slightly intoxicated and then continued to get more intoxicated, unbeknownst to the staff of Odeon, until maybe I left, and I may have left a 70 sale of Captain Morgan's in my seat by accident.
A 70 sale? What? What happened?
Me and Melissa, we have a lot of fun at the cinema every time we go. Bring in a load of drink, just sit there drinking, like sneaking into the cups and sip away. Man, I'm telling you, it makes movies a lot better.
That is a really good idea, yeah.
It makes movies 10 times better. It may have been a slight inconvenience, maybe, to watching the new Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Which is out now.
Out now.
That film moves so quickly. And, like, especially towards the end of the film, I am... like, it's a very overwhelming film in terms of, like, what's going on screen, like, visually, and how much is happening, and, like, just throwing...
That's a kind of anime vibe, doesn't it?
Oh, man. Have you seen...
I have not seen any of it.
Have you seen the first one?
No, nothing. I haven't seen any of them. I did watch Push in Boots.
Puss in Boots?
The new Puss in Boots movie.
Is that good?
It is. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It is. It actually is pretty good.
It's on the watch list.
But apparently it has kind of similar animation style for action sequences.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I don't know enough about the technical side of animation.
The frame rate.
Yeah.
Goes way up.
Yeah.
And it's very detailed.
It's
very stylized.
I think some of the animation is on ones. So, like, when I know at the very least, like, animating on ones means, like, every frame is animated. Like, every frame is drawn. So every, like, 30th of a second is a new frame that is completely drawn.
Yeah.
Which is
a lot.
Like, you insane person, what the fuck? So they do stuff like that. Okay, right. So my thing with Into the Spider-Verse, the first film, was when I watched it, and I've seen it like 2 times since. I've seen that film like 3 times. I was like, that is the best in terms of, like, animation, like the quality of animation. In fact, probably is just the best animated film I've ever seen. I sit down in my seat, like, having enjoyed, like, really enjoyed it, like, Into the Spider-Verse, but not hearing, like, a lot about Across the Spider-Verse. Came out of it and was like, well, that's the best animated film I've ever seen. This fucking movie, man, holy shit. Like, it's so, like, it's number 1 film on Letterboxd at the moment.
I seen that
for a fucking reason. Fuck any of you nerds that are giving this film half-star on Letterboxd just to try and drag down the rating.
I'm gonna do that now after this.
This film is fucking amazing. This is gonna be my film of the year. There's no fucking way there's anything else that's gonna come out this year. No, there's nothing else that's gonna come out this year. I can't think of anything else that's coming out this year.
Barbie.
Barbie, Oppenheimer, shit, yeah, my film bro status and my my film bro status.
Ryan Gosling, man.
Yeah, it has to go up with Barbie. No, like, Across the Spider-Verse is just like, it's like legit mind blowing in scenes. There's a scene where there's, Miles Morales. I'm not going to talk about the plot of this film because I think people should kind of go in blind. Basically, Miles Morales, he's going across the Spider-Verse, and there's loads of different Spider-Men, like in the first one, but now he's... do you ever watch Rick and Morty?
No.
Okay, so in Rick and Morty, there's, like, the Council of Ricks,
Yeah.
Where like all the Ricks across all the different dimensions all have a council.
Yeah.
Miles Morales goes to that, but for Spider-Man.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And there's like different Spider-Men and Spider-Women and Spider-they-thems from like...
Is Spider-Pig there?
Spider-Pig... He was in the first one.
Yeah.
He's in the first one. He doesn't come back into it. In fact, I don't think any of the ones, except for Peter Parker. But now you have me thinking that they're going to come into the third one. Because this film, like, I was in my seat, glued to the screen. And I was like, this film has been going on for a while. And I was like, oh no. Oh no, like, this film is climaxing and Miles Morales is trapped. There's no fucking way this film's gonna have an ending that like resolves this.
Yeah.
Cuts. I was like, see you next year.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah, very good.
And I was like, for a moment I sat there and I was like, fuck that. And then 20 minutes went by. I was like, nah, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I can get over it. Like immediately I was like, fuck that. That's bullshit.
I kind of like that conceit. Yeah.
But I'm over it. Like I got over it very quickly.
Yeah.
It's because like man, I've seen people being pissed about that, but then also rate Infinity War 5 stars on Letterboxd. I was like, you're a fucking asshole.
Infinity War. It's part 6. Fuck off.
Like the film ends on a complete cliffhanger.
Yeah.
But like it's okay. The next film's coming out next year, so
There's nothing wrong with a cliffhanger.
There is nothing wrong with a cliffhanger.
There is nothing wrong with it. You know, it's like World's End, for example. I thought that was very good.
Yes.
Captain Jack and the big fucking Kraken or whatever.
No, Dead Man's Chest.
Dead Man's Chest, leading into World's End. Yeah. What else? Dune did it. I thought that was well done. I
don't know. People get really annoyed when a film.
Even the way Deathly Hallows Part 1. I don't know if it was the relief of the film being over, or. But I think it's just a fact. I think it's just something nice about a cliffhanger.
I think though that people don't really mind that because it's in the title that it's Part 1.
Yeah, well, still though.
I don't really mind. Like with Dune, I was like, yeah, that's fine. Like because a lot of people are like, oh, okay, I'll rate this higher or lower depending on where the next film goes. That's not how you should watch films.
That's silly.
Like
that's silly.
Shrek 1 is no worse because Shrek 2 came out.
Shrek 1 and 2 are no worse because Shrek 3 and 4 were dog shit.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't that bad, but like still. Yeah, it doesn't make them worse.
They don't make them worse.
Yeah.
Like
the standalone films. Even if they do lead directly into each other.
I guess that they're like slightly different because like the story is not complete. Like there is no like conclusion where Shrek 1 and 2 there is. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but like again, I don't really mind. Like, did I enjoy the film that I sat down and watched? Yes, all the way through. Did it end in a way that was not satisfying? Yes, but that's okay because it's gonna get. I'll get to bust my load next year, so it's fine.
Makes it even better.
It's just edging.
Some might say it's edging.
Just edging.
Cinematic edging.
Cinematic edging.
That's what it's all about.
The climax will be all the better. But like, just man, like, there's a scene where like, there's Miles Morales, there's Gwen, there's Indian Spider-Man, can't think of his name, and there's punk rock Spider-Man, and they're in New Mumbai, which is like New York mixed with India, and there's an alternate universe, and they're fighting Spot, who is the villain in this film. Basically, he can just travel throughout
the verses,
and is getting more powerful as he does. And so they're fighting him, and they're also trying to like stop a building collapsing on a bridge. And like the music, the way that it's edited, the animation, got goosebumps.
Yeah,
got legit goosebumps. I was like, this is sick. I was like, this is everything that you would want from an animated film.
How much of this was a drink?
That's the thing.
I want to see this now.
That is the thing, but At that stage, that's only an hour in. Like, I wasn't pissed at that stage.
Yeah. Only half 70CL in.
I mean, Melissa shared the 70CL. I didn't have the 70CL by myself. But, like...
Just hiding it from Melissa.
You're right there. This is
Stone Cold
sober. I did the same thing with Avatar too, so... I think, like, you know, like visually spectacular films, they should always be watched with like some substance within your body.
Yeah.
It makes it better. You may pick that substance, but there should be a substance.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
But no, just like the animation in this film, the color, like there's a scene where like Gwen is like really sad and the scene is all blue and it's like split down the middle and there's a close up of her dad in one of the panels, and it's like this great visual of isolation, like they're visually not in the same panel, and then he's like, they're like having an argument or whatever, and then he's just like, are you too punk rock to give your dad a hug? And she just snaps into a hug with him. The panel is now full screen and warm orange spreads throughout the panel, and it's like, that is just so like perfect, like visual animated storytelling for what's going on.
Yeah.
Like really using the medium to tell its story. There's like live action characters show up. There's characters in completely like visual different styles. Like the punk rock Spider-Man has like he's got like a Sex Pistols album cover.
Yeah.
And he's all these weird colors. None of it mashes against each other, even though they're completely different styles. They all like fit together. Even the live action characters do. It's so weird. It's such a I just like, it's one of those films. It's like, that was like a film you needed to see in cinema. If the next Spider-Verse film is good, which I have full confidence that it will be.
Yeah.
This is the greatest trilogy of films ever made.
Man, you can't just say that.
I'm saying it.
You can't say that.
I'm saying it.
You cannot say that.
I'm saying it.
I will bar you from saying that.
Name a better trilogy. You haven't even seen
I've
these
never
films.
seen any
but
films.
name a...
I need to
I guess Lord
watch
of the
them.
Rings, but like, you know.
Yeah, I need to see them. That's all I'm taking from this. I need to see this.
Let's just retract. Lord of the Rings, right? Lord of the Rings, each one of those films is 1/3 of the story, and no one bitches about the fact that those films don't end in like, you know.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I definitely need to see this because there's nothing really out. There's weirdly nothing out. There's been nothing out for quite a while.
Yeah.
I had an itch to go to the cinema recently, but I just couldn't justify it.
Watch Spider-Verse. Spider-Verse is on Netflix, so watch that.
Yeah.
And then go see this.
Yeah, on my own.
I'll go with you. I'll go see this film again.
Yeah, let's do it.
This time I'll be on acid.
A liter, Captain Morgan.
A liter of acid.
Yeah, no, it sounds what I'm looking for. An authentic cinematic experience. Nothing better.
It's also great because the cinemas are fucking empty because it's so warm.
Yeah, when did you see it?
I went to go see it last weekend, not this weekend. We go by the weekend before.
Okay, yeah.
And like, me and Melissa went for food, and then we went to that, and it was like mid to high 20s, and I was like, I'm actually really glad that we're on heat because I would die.
Yeah,
I would legit
yeah.
melt.
Yeah, it's so hot out. So it
was okay to be nice in a nice, cool cinema room,
Mm-hmm.
enjoying this movie.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Good problem to have.
Great problem to have.
Great solution to the problem. You know?
Escape the sun.
Yeah. Watch a movie.
Enter the Spider-Verse.
Yes, yeah. Perfect arrangement.
Definitely.
Yeah, well, we'll have to go see that.
100%.
You know?
Highly recommend. Mark, I feel like we've had a high-octane episode. We've talked about things that are exciting. We talked about explosions, blowing up pipelines, the Spider-Verse, prison, Ted Kaczynski. Breathing, Rocky, communism, the Red Wall.
Everything.
Let's take a chill pill. What is our recommended film for this episode?
No Home Movie. Let's scale it back down for a second.
Take a breather. Take a breath, everyone.
Okay. So, our recommended film for this episode. as we mentioned at the start of the episode, is No Home Movie.
2015.
2015, a film by Chantal Ackerman, or Ackerman, whatever. No Home Movie is a documentary about humans dealing with changing technology, the basic concepts of communication, cinema, and Ackerman's mother, a Polish immigrant and survivor of Auschwitz. So, No Home Movie. No Way Home Movie. No Home Movie.
That fucking No Way Home kept coming up when I was trying to find this film.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not looking for this.
Looking for something slightly different.
Something a little more, slightly more chill.
Yeah. Now, this film's kind of hard to find. It's on Mubi, but it's only on like the most bizarre, like obscure countries.
It's not
movies.
even, man. That fucking website lied to me. I just changed my VP. I was globe-trotting trying to find this movie on Mubi, and I couldn't get it.
Traveled around the world and back for No Home Movie. It's kind of poetic, isn't it?
Yes, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
In the end, I had to return home to the pirating sites to be able to find this fucking film.
Yes. At the end of the day, we always return to the warm embrace of the Pirate Bay.
There is legit no legal way to watch this film. I was like, please, like, I was trying to sign up to fucking Criterion Channel trying to fucking watch this film.
Criterion don't even let us.
They don't let us. I was like, maybe it's on Amazon in some way. No, you can't buy the DVD either off Amazon. There's like legit no way to get it.
Yeah, usually if you look it up, like stick a name.
Which is weird because it's a European film, but anyway.
Yeah. Usually stick a title in Google and it'll tell you, oh, it's on this, XYZ, you know. And you can watch it there. Sometimes you won't have it, but whatever. This film, you look it up and it's just nothing. Even if you go watch, you know, the usual tricks, watch whatever online, there's nothing there. Like, it's just nothing. Like, you know, those like rating sites are like, you know, when is it going to be on like live TV? Never is the answer for this film. Yeah, it's very, very difficult to watch. Very hard to find. Because it is an independent kind of, it's not really an art house film. Like it's an art house film, but like there's nothing like it's not like out there at all.
No, it's not.
It's not remotely out there. It's an art house film. It's just kind of an independent film, which is a bit abstract. It's very, very slow. It's very, very deliberative. It's very, very. It's the reverse of, as we said, of everything we talked about so far in the film, or in the episode. Sorry. It kind of reminds me, just purely off vibes. If we think back to First Cow. Do you remember First Cow?
I still haven't seen that film, but yes, I remember you talking about it.
It's very, very slow, deliberative. It's a film that is just relaxing to watch, which is the best thing about it. Also, the worst thing about the film. I think the same applies to this film as well. This film is very, very, very slow. We talked about montages in Rocky earlier. 32% of Rocky 4 is montages, and then that's before we even count in
I know where you're going with this.
Louis Armstrong and all this stuff. No Home Movie, I'd say at least 32% of No Home Movie. It's just like
still shots.
It's just still shots of like nothing in particular, which I have to be honest, I didn't really understand why they were in there. Thank you very much. I have to, full disclosure, I did not really get why there were so many still shots. You know, like, I understand the point. As we talked about the synopsis, you know, communication. It's kind of, the thesis is kind of stated openly in the first third of the film, the first like 20-30 minutes.
Yeah.
When Ackerman is on a Skype call with her mother, and she's explaining to her mother why she's filming her. She's talking about communication, distance, how there's distance in the world, but at the same time
we're also connected.
We're also connected
through Skype.
We can talk through Skype. She's in Oklahoma. Her mother is in Brussels, where the family's from. And you can get all that, but I'm not sure how that relates to the still sequences.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But yeah, it's very, very deliberative, meditative, transcendental kind of vibe to the film. While also being like, we talk about transcendental film, usually it's kind of out there in some way, or has some kind of complicated plot. This film doesn't really have a plot at all. It's just her interviewing her mother.
Yeah. See, like, afterwards I was like, you know, when I was watching the film, before I watched the film, I was like, No Home Movie. That's a weird fucking title. Like, what does that mean?
It is.
And obviously, like, then when I watched the film, I was like, it is not a home movie. Like, it's, you know, where you have footage, like your mom or your dad pulling out the camcorder, recording you and your kids. There's always shots of nothingness at some stages. I don't know about you. My dad always doing it. You're in the car. He just pulls out the camera. He's just shooting the landscape.
Yeah.
He's just you're just driving on the road. He's just taking recording that. Just to remember that, like, you know, you drove down this road or whatever. You're with your family when you're driving down this road. Whatever reason. Multiple shots in this film are like just that. And then there's shots of just like she just sits down the camera and she has a conversation with her mom. About an hour into the film, I was like, what else has Chantal Akerman done? Because I don't know the name. And I went onto her Wikipedia page, and sadly she died the year after this film came out.
Did she?
She died by suicide. The mother also died a few before the film came out.
Jesus.
I
didn't know that.
No. So after that, I was like, the next like 40 minutes was like a lot more poignant.
Yeah.
And also, Ackerman did the film. Oh, it's got that real long name, Jean
Diamant, 23 Key to Commerce, 1080 Brussels.
Which is just an address. That's why I can never remember it. Which I've never seen, but it's a 4-hour film, which is regarded as the most mundane film ever made. And it's also the number 1 film of the new Sight and Sound top 100 films ever made. And in that film, there's lots of repetition, and like you see how the repetition like breaks down. And this film is a lot like that. This film kind of made me not want to watch John Deladuce because it was like, this film was an hour and 50 minutes. I thought it was good. I thought it was very poignant, very poetic. I don't know if I'd be able to stomach that for 4 hours, but I mean, I'm still intrigued to watch the film. I don't know when, if ever, I'll ever watch it, but with this film, I kind of found that like the still shots of like landscape, like there's like the film opens in a 4-minute shot of a tree blowing in the wind, and this wind is fucking blowing.
It's a serious wind.
It's a serious old gust on this poor little tree. And afterwards I was like, you know, reading reviews and stuff like that, and like trying to like, you know, figure out like what people kind of thought about this film, because this film is really highly regarded. And most of the reasons why people really like this film is because it makes you think about your parents and the lives that they have lived, and like about how they're from a different time and the sacrifices that they've made for you. So in this film, the mother is a Holocaust survivor. I don't know if it's specifically mentioned in the film. I don't know if I missed it or not, that she mentions actually being in Auschwitz. She does talk about how like Brussels did, or not Brussels, Belgium as a whole, saw the Jewish population to the Nazis, and like how awful that was. And from what I can kind of tell, most of her grandparents did not survive the Holocaust. So like what her mother went through, and then Ackerman talking to the mom about all that type of stuff, and like there's very few like conversations in the film, but when there are conversations, there's usually like scenes afterwards of just like quietness and like shots, and it makes you really like think about the relationship of Ackerman and the mom, because like it is like a home movie. Like I was reading afterwards, like she cut this 2-hour film down from 40 hours of footage. So like, how many conversations did she cut out? You know, like she could have filled up this like 2-hour film with conversations, but she chose to show landscape and you know, modern cities, and then all the conversations with the mom are about the past and stuff like that. And like, you know, there's like Skype calls, and I had flashbacks to lockdown, talking into like grandparents and stuff like that on like Zoom and stuff like that, where you're just like, how are you getting on, Granddad? How are you getting on, Owen?
Yeah.
And like, not like you say something and then you're crossing over each other, and then you say something again and your grandpa can't hear you, and like just like that type of stuff, like how like her mom can use the technology to communicate, but she can't really communicate. Especially there's a second Skype call that's longer than the first one, and Ackerman is like, I have bills to do. And the mom just completely, I don't know what the fuck the mom heard, but she completely mishears her and answers to a completely different question. And then Ackerman's like, no, mom, I have to go. And I was like, you what? I was like, I have to go. No, I can see myself on the screen. It's like, no, ma'am, I have to go.
Yeah.
And just like how like technology like connects us, but also like the older generation's kind of getting like kind of left behind, and like the sacrifices they had to make to get us to here, and how the world is changing. Like that's what I really read from those like long panning shots of the landscapes and stuff like that. Like the world is changing so rapidly, mostly in a better way.
Yeah, she's talking about Auschwitz, and then it's just a Skype call, and you're like, Skype calls aren't so bad.
It's not so bad. Pretty good. Pretty good comparison.
They were pretty painful, but could be worse.
But I do know where you're coming from, because like it is a very slow film.
It's very, very slow. In a deliberate way, of course. But it is very slow, and yeah, it's kind of like we're saying, it's not an art house film, but it is kind of abstract in the way that you do have to fill in the blanks. Like obviously 40 hours of footage, you couldn't have down to 2 hours. Like, everything's very deliberate.
Yeah,
every conversation is put in there for a reason.
But there's also no context.
Yeah, it's very like there's just nothing there, you don't really even see Akim.
No.
Yeah.
No,
which is weird.
Yeah, there's always like shots from the back of her and stuff like that.
It's mainly about her mother.
Her mother is the subject of this film.
Yeah. And she's talking about the past and her dad and all these random things. The backstory kind of makes it a bit more kind of like tragic.
Yeah, doesn't it?
She killed herself.
Like I
like 2015, the year this movie came out.
Yeah, especially when towards the end of the film, when the mom is not well, and she's like sitting in the chair, like breathing really heavily, and like there's other people. I don't know what the relation the other people have. Like there's other people in the film. I have no idea what their relation to.
Yeah, Sylviane and the old lady who's like related to Sylviane.
Yeah, I don't know
who are they.
I think Sylviane is
like a friend or something of the older one.
Or her sister or something.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% certain, but again, like that's kind of. I think that's kind of part of it, that like it's a home movie, but it's not our home movie.
It's fragmentary because we don't have context, because
we're not part of the family. We don't know who these people are, but like that's the point. So to Ackerman and the mother, they know who they are, but use the audience, you don't know. And they're like trying to tell her to like breathe properly, and, like relax when you're eating your food and all this type of stuff. And like there's like a long scene where the mom is sitting in a chair and Ackerman's like talking to her about like the past, and like talking about like not even like grand ideas of the past. Like, she's talking about like, oh mom, do you remember that woman who had the dog with the really big breasts? And the mom doesn't really respond, and she can't really remember. And then someone else comes over and fills her in, and then the mom starts laughing. You can see her remembering what it was. Stuff like that was a lot harder once I read the Wikipedia page and realized that like the mom did die very shortly after the film was finished. And Ackerman herself also died very shortly after the film was made. It adds like it adds to the sadness of the film.
Or the, I don't know, it's like melancholic.
Yeah,
because
this film is, because it's a documentary, like these aren't scripted conversations, So like, they are memories that we are watching. You know, it's kind of like this whole film, same way the home movies are. They're memories that we're watching of Ackerman and our mom, and just like, you know, Ackerman traveling through America and stuff like that. Really, really poignant film. Very like poetic and like not a movie. Like, this is the most literal. I know we've probably talked about other films being like, yeah, it's like all these memories. This is like literally memories that we are watching.
Yeah, there's no like cinematography or anything like that. It's very. It looks like someone's just, you know, could have been uploaded to YouTube, and he'd be like, yeah, that's some random person's home movie.
Yeah,
you know, that kind of way. But obviously, there's kind of context, and there is an art to it, obviously, as well. There's an artfulness to its assembly. But yes, it's an anti-movie kind of way, you know. It's not there's no real plot. There's no context given at all.
No, there's not.
There's characters. There's one character, you know, even though there's multiple people. But yeah, it's very slow. It is it's a unique movie.
Certainly, definitely. I think this is the most unique film that we've recommended.
That's definitely different from all the others, yeah.
Oh, 100%. And I don't even know like how much I would recommend for people to watch this film. I also had a fucking mare watching this film because every fucking this film took me nearly 3 hours to watch. It's already fucking slow. The fucking video kept buffering. So the way I kind of want to rewatch it, but like not anytime soon. And then come back to it after a while and like actually be able to watch it. Because those slow scenes only went on slower when they were like fucking 4 times as long as they should have been.
You're just watching a tree blowing in the wind. Stop buffering.
Stop buffering, please. And at times it was like, is this there's a bit where like,
yeah, I was like is this buffering or is the film playing? I had to like check like watch if the counter was going up, you know. Yeah, it's very slow film.
Yeah, and again, like there's no plot, so like the film just kind of ends. Yeah, it's a hard film to talk about because it's not really a film. It is a film, but it's not really a film, if you know what I mean. Yeah,
it's not
traditional.
It's not very open.
No.
At the same time, but at the same time, you have to. It invites you.
Yes.
To interpret it.
Yeah, it's art.
It's very. It demands a lot, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you wouldn't stick this on. So.
This is
quiet night, day off. Let's stick on no home movie.
This is only a film that I would watch because we do a podcast.
Yes. Yeah. You wouldn't stick this on with the mates.
You know, this is not one that I would go to the cinema drinking to watch.
He's like, ah! He's there laughing.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Oh, the dog with the tits. Oh, God, that's good.
Just peeling potatoes.
Yeah, go on, Chantal.
Yeah, it's not one of those films. But I think it's still, like, really good. But I don't exactly recommend it, even though it is one of our recommended films.
Yeah, I wouldn't really. I don't know who I would recommend this to.
No.
I don't know anyone.
No, neither.
You know.
I don't know who. I don't know.
Liam, you should watch this.
Yeah, Liam. I don't know. Liam would be like, "This is fucking so boring." Yeah. Well, we'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it there for
this week.
Do you have a recommended film for the next episode?
I do indeed.
Terrific.
I have an absolute fucking doozy for us.
Let's go.
So, a few weeks back, I recommended that we watch The Wicker Tree.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is, you know, sequel to The Wicker Man. And I was looking around, I was looking at like weird sequels that came out. And I came across 2010, the year we make contact. I was like,
oh shit,
what the fuck is this a sequel to? This is a sequel to 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
It is.
I've heard about
it. There was a book that, because the original 2001 is based on a book, and the book had a sequel, and this film is based on the sequel of the book. I don't know if this film is This film is an adaptation of the sequel to the book. It is not a sequel to 2001.
Yeah, apparently it differs in certain ways. Apparently.
So, let's see. Will we enjoy 2010 more than 2001?
2010. Did you enjoy 2010 more than 2001?
I was 2 years old, and then I was 11.
Well,
so I'm gonna say yes.
Nothing. Well, we had the crash.
Yeah.
2010 wasn't great.
You know, I've no living. I know.
9/11 versus the crash.
I was 11 years old. Can I? Oh no. Yeah, I was 11. Yeah. How? Do I have any memories?
12. I didn't like being 12.
Was I in second class, third class? Maybe I was in third class, fourth class. How old are you when you're in school?
We were fifth class and sixth class. You were in
Jesus,
fifth.
I was saying I think I was saying
actually no. Sixth class was pretty good. I actually kind of like sixth.
Yeah,
class.
sixth class was pretty decent.
Yeah.
Although 11, I think it was fifth class.
Yeah.
I don't know what year I was in. I'm gonna be. I can't remember.
You're fifth.
Fifth class.
Yeah.
Fifth class. Things started to look up.
That's good.
Things started to look up in fifth class. Yeah. So yeah. This film is a lot more accessible as well because I picked this one. I was like sick of watching these films that aren't on fucking anything. This film is rentable on YouTube. Let's fucking go.
Perfecto.
Right. We will leave it at that. We may have a guest on for next episode if all things go well.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed we are able to schedule this properly.
Hit myself in the face in the microphone.
There might be a delay in the next episode, depending on how the schedule works.
Mm-hmm.
We will update everyone on the Instagram.
Mm-hmm. If there's no delay, we don't have a guest.
Yeah. Or there is no delay and we might have a guest. We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Good night. God bless.
Sayonara. Bye.